Hey everybody, it's Jamie Shaw live coming to you from Jamie Shaw Marketing Show. How is everybody doing tonight? See, I got a little delay. So as we get rolling tonight, I am going to talk about pain. Is it controlling you or are you controlling it? And make sure. I want to make sure I had the volume turned off on that. And this is something I listened to on the way home. It was about Ray Lewis, and if nobody knows who Ray Lewis is, then he was a professional football player that played for the Baltimore Ravens, and he talked about pain, and how pain growing up and everything, and how he tore his tricep in the NFL and everything, and how he went through it. So, it kind of inspired me to talk about pain tonight because we all go through it. Hi, Katie. How are you? I see you live in the chat. Hi, Sonia. How are you? I see you live in the chat. So, we all go through and experience pain. Even me myself, I have experienced pain in my past. Tremendous pain. I'll tell you a little of my story. I grew up. I live in Rushville, Illinois. I grew up in Carrollton, Illinois. It's about an hour north of St. Louis, Missouri, and grew up on a farm. And my dad was, a mean alcoholic. So, I got my butt whipped every time I got in trouble with whatever he could get his hands on. Piece of baling wire, piece of barbed wire, garden hose, whatever was available. Most of the time, his favorite choice was razor strap. So I got to feel that pain. And as a young child, I grew up in a violent household. I've seen my mom get beat up firsthand. And I didn't like it, and I didn't want to deal with it. And as I grew, and I talked about fantasizing. I fantasized I was a NBA player shooting the last shot and stuff. I got good at basketball. I was really good at baseball, and I played high school football. And I took my frustrations out on that, and I got in the weight room and started lifting weights. I don't look like it now, but when I graduated high school, I was pretty stout. I did a lot of weightlifting and stuff like that all through high school. I started in like 8th grade, and one night my dad come home drunk, and he was beating the crap out of my mom, and I said something, and I was like in 8th or 9th grade at the time, and it might have been 7th or 8th grade at the time, and Dad come out and smacked me and said, you go back to your room, you stay out of it. And I swore that day I'd never let it happen again. So that's why I got into lifting weights and stuff. And, finally about 16, it happened again. Dad come home drunk one night, and this happened all the time. It wasn't just here and there. It was all the time. He come home and, I heard Mom screaming because I had my bedroom door shut. Because I always went in there and I lifted weights and I listened to my radio and stuff. And I heard my mom screaming. So I run into the dining room, and he had her by the hair and he was punching her in the side of the head, and I'd seen my mom, beat up so bad that she couldn't even see out of her eyes, and when I seen that day, I swore that I'd never let that happen again. And then this day came, and, I was about 16, and I was pretty strong at that time and pretty confident in myself, because I was really good at high school sports and everything. And, in about 7th or 8th grade, I got into fighting and stuff like that, and nobody messed with me because, I kicked the crap out of a lot of people. So that night, when I went out there in the dining room, I seen him punch her in the side of the head, and I said, "That's enough. You won't do it no more." And he come in and stuck his finger in my face and said, "Boy, you better take your butt to your room. I'm gonna kick your ass." I said, "Bring it on." And I stood there and I fought with my father fist to fist, and I won. And he never messed with me again. He never hit my mother again, as far as I know. But that's a pain that I had to go through. And my dad always told me growing up, he'd get mad at me and tell me, you're never going to amount to shit, you know. I'd bring home bad grades, you know, because I was suffering through the pain, the mental pain, you know, of seeing him be mean to my mom and stuff all the time. So um, I took that pain with me all the time, and I took my frustrations of that pain out in lifting weights and stuff. And then after, you know, when I got 18, graduated high school, you know, I took that pain and I went off to the military and served in the Air Force. And I turned that pain, well, it was probably my junior year of high school. I actually turned that pain into drinking, you know, and I started drinking in high school. That's completely fine, Katie. There wasn't nothing you or I or anybody else could do about it. That's just the pain of life. And, you know, and that's my point tonight. We all go through some sort of pain. And this is my pain that I've had to live with, you know, and grow through all my life, you know. But, you know, my junior year of high school, I turned my pain into drinking, you know, and I took that drinking into the military with me. And in the military, it even got worse. And I think that probably was a lot of the cause of my ex-wife, you know, or the breakup of me and my ex-wife, because, you know, I got out of control and big time, you know, and I've talked about it before on our workshop and stuff, you know, that I was probably making $350 a week, and I was probably spending $250 to $300 on the weekend in alcohol, you know, and I really got bad. And I suffered with that pain, you know. And then one day, you know, I went hanging out with my cousins, and they were all alkies, and, you know, they'd all had 3 or 4 DUIs, couldn't drive, and I could drive, you know. And I think this is where I hit my bottom, you know. And they talked about this on Wisdom Wednesday last night about hitting bottom, you know. But I drove that night and took my cousins around. We went bar hopping. We went through 3 different counties and probably hit every bar in that county. And I drove that night. I don't remember a single thing that night, you know. And that's when I made a decision that the pain I was living through wasn't worth my life or anybody else's life, you know. So at that time, you know, when I'd come home, this was after I'd come home from the Air Force and got out, you know, my dad had quit drinking. He'd went to AA. He'd got his 3rd DUI and had to go to AA to get his driver's license back. And, you know, and he'd been sober about 2 or 3 years at this time, you know, because I was in the Air Force, you know, for 4 years and got out. So this all come about while I was in the Air Force. You know, Mom left him and took my little brother with her, and, you know, Dad had to get his crap straight, you know, and sober up and quit doing the things he was doing. And you know, I wasn't there to protect either one of them anymore. So, you know, that was her resource to get out, you know. And Dad went to AA, and he was sober about 3 years when all this come about, you know. And I reached out to Dad and asked him for help, you know, and he took me to AA and helped me get away from the alcohol. And, you know, I owe that debt of gratitude to him, you know. But all my life, I still suffered with this pain that I went through, you know, what I seen growing up. You know, and even though I went through this pain, you know, I've risen above that. You know, I've grown into a great person. I've really worked hard after I quit drinking to better myself. You know, I went back to college and got an associate's degree in computer aided drafting, and, you know, everybody's heard about ITT Technical Institute and their fallout. Well, I couldn't get a job after coming out of ITT, so I went and got a second associate's degree in computer aided drafting through Robert Morris College in Springfield, Illinois, you know, and I got a job in the drafting field after that, or the engineering field. And well, thank you, Katie. You know, I'm awesome. I know I'm awesome, but you guys brought me out of the shell that I was in to help me become awesome, because I wasn't always awesome like this. At least I didn't think in my mind I was. And, you know, that's what the pain does with you. It keeps you captured in your mind, and you think, you know, I can't do this, or, you know, why is this happening to me? You know, I'm nobody. I'm not I'm doing a webinar and nobody's going to listen to me because I'm not good enough. But you're wrong. You know, that's all crap. The pain plays in your mind, in your mindset, you know. And I didn't really get into the mindset until, you know, last couple of years, but, you know, I kind of learned some of it in college and stuff. You know, the only way to get better was to, you know, set out an intention and go out and do it. I learned that in college, and my second round of college, my second associate's degree, I decided I was going to do this. I had to do it for myself and my family. And so I went through the second associate's degree, and I had a disagreement with the architectural instructor because I hated architecture anyway. I mean, I love architecture, but I hate drawing architecture. And so out of 6 semesters, I was on the dean's list 5 out of 6 semesters. And the only reason I wasn't on the dean's list that 6th semester, hi, Tim Cole, how are you? I see you in the chat, The only reason I wasn't on the dean's list that 6th semester is because I got in an argument with that architecture instructor, and he told me I was doing it wrong. And I worked in the industry. I knew I wasn't doing it wrong. And the people who trained me at the company I worked for told me I was doing it right. So him and I got in an argument. I got a C in that class. So that kept me from the dean's list and graduating with high honors, which didn't matter, So I kept on working in the engineering field, and I got laid off, so there I face another pain, why, and we ask God, why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to, support my family and raise my family, and I realized, I graduated college. I wasn't learning anything anymore. I was just trying to do my job. I wasn't trying to grow. I was just there, so stuff, if you're not educating your mind and always learning, then you're going to stay stuck where you are, and your life's not going to move forward. So, so in that, let me back up a little bit, in that time frame, where I was drinking and everything, I quit drinking and everything, and me and my ex-wife didn't get along at all. Of course, we got married young, I was 19, and I think she was 17 when we got married, and we just didn't get along. We didn't get along married. We get along great today. We had two beautiful boys together, and we get along great today. But we just didn't get along married. If you guys can understand that, and I went through a really low point in my life, and I won't go all the way into details to it because it's something I don't share a lot. People that are in the chat, they know it, know about it, but I'll just say, I hit a really low point in my life. I had a divine intervention, and I grew from that divine intervention and realized that I could do a lot of things, and right after that divine intervention, I met my wife, Bertie, now, and she picked up the pieces of a broken man and put him all back together. And she put me through school, through Robert Morris College, because I already had my associate's degree from ITT Tech, and she worked hard. We worked at a meat packing plant at the time, and I went to school full time and worked full time, and got the second degree. And then I ended up in the engineering field. Then she put me back through school to get my bachelor's degree in technical management. And then she put me into school again. I did 2 more semesters of an MBA, and then I did 60 credits of my bachelor's degree in 3 months. So I did 20 credits a semester, or not in 3 months, in 3 semesters. So I did 20 credits a semester for 3 semesters. Then I went right into an MBA and did 2 semesters of an MBA, and I was brain dead. I couldn't do it no more. So I just kind of kept working, and like I said, when the second company I went to work for, I got laid off because they said I didn't know one of the softwares very well. Well, that's the primary software that I use today, and when they laid me off, that was pain. I couldn't support my family. I had to rely on unemployment to support my family. So to overcome that pain, I started digging into any training I could find on that software. The other software, AutoCAD, I was good at. I went to school and learned AutoCAD twice. I was very good and competent at AutoCAD, but the MicroStation software I struggled with, and I didn't use it for a few years, and I landed with a company in Jacksonville, Illinois, and I started using the MicroStation software, and I became very good at it. Of course, I had a support system there that would help me and teach me, and they had training libraries, and I dug into all the training I could find with it and learned everything I could, and at this time my wife had sent me back to school to get my bachelor's degree. And, I went to into my bachelor's degree, and those 3 semesters I was on the dean's list, 2 of them semesters. So, I achieved good grades, and what's amazing about it all through high school, I was all through high school except for my senior year, I was C's, D's, and, borderline, B, C's, and D's. I got a couple of F's, but I brought them up, so I passed on to the next grade. But my senior year, I was on the honor roll a couple of times because I had easy classes. I only needed, we needed 22 credits to graduate high school, and I think I had 18 going into my senior year, so I only need 4 classes. So I went to school half a day and worked half a day. So in this, I worked at this company in Jacksonville, and I met someone that I considered a close friend. She was a very smart, talented engineer, and I got laid off at that company too. So I'm experiencing pain again. I got laid off. They just run out of work, plain and simple. The economy was down, and they just run out of work, plain and simple. And so I went to work for another environmental engineering company, which that's where I started, was environmental engineering. So I had experience in that area. So this environmental engineering company picked me up, and I worked for them for 3 years, going around doing landfills. I'd go in and I'd be the construction observer and run the construction crews and build the new landfill cells where they put all your trash at. I didn't play in the trash. I just, surveyed and designed and built the new cells. And I was pretty respected and, growing in my field, and then, the engineer I became good friends with at the company in Jacksonville, she called me up and wanted me to come to work for her because she started her own company. So I worked for her for 4 years, and then she brought on a crew of people from another company that was going under, and the big structural engineer that she brought on didn't like me. So the only way to get his guy that he brought with him in charge of everything was to get me out the door. So they pushed me out the door, basically, and she stood behind their decision. Then after a year, that's another pain, and that pain was huge because, I was unemployed for 15 months. So it took a real hard toll on my marriage, and because I was here all the time and searching for jobs, and I'd run into marketing, at that time. That was around 2008. I run into marketing, and I had some websites and stuff like that, and this first company I was with, I didn't make anything. I don't even remember what the name of the company was, but the second company was, the second company I was with was it's still around, and I was doing pretty good with it. I think I was there three years, and I think I made $800 or $900 in that 3 years, which that's not life changing, but it's, it's a success because I made some money. But, I started, working harder and learn stuff more and more. The time I spent learning how to market. Plus, I was off all day long. I had plenty of time, so I'd spend hours looking for a job in the morning. Then I'd spend a couple hours training on marketing. Then I'd spend a couple hours training on the software that I use, just so I could stay up to date when I found a job. And it was a big struggle. And my wife and I went through a lot of struggles when I was going to school because I was working full time and going to school full time. So that don't leave a lot of time for marriage, and I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or getting up at actually 5 o'clock in the morning. We were at work by 6. Then we were getting off at 3:30 in the afternoon. Then I'd drive to Springfield, which is an hour and a half away. And then I'd be in class till 10 o'clock at night, and then drive an hour and a half home, be home 11:30 midnight, and then get back up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do it all over again. So everybody wonders why, I'm going all the time. It's because I'm geared for 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, and that's about all I get still to this day. It's going to get noisy. My wife's home and the dogs are going crazy, so if you hear a bunch of barking, just ignore it. So, but I lost my train of thought there. The brain fart, you know. But I spent that time, I was laid off that year and a half, trying to educate myself, And that second company, they taught me how to set up a WordPress blog, taught you all the ins and outs of WordPress, taught you how to market ClickBank products, and stuff like that. And and then I spent, a couple other hours during the day. I spent it using the software that I use. Luckily, after about a year of being off, I was starting to get antsy, and I contacted the company that made the software, and I was real good friends with the product person that sells you the products, and asked her if I could get a free trial of it so I could stay up to date on it. And she was more than happy to. Then a recruiter called me, and they had an opening for me up in Dixon, Illinois, which is up by Chicago. And the company I went to work for up there, they were an amazing company, and they wanted to hire me full time, but it was 3 hours away, and I just couldn't handle living in a hotel all week and coming home on the weekends. It's no life to live, So that was a big pain too, because my wife and I were separated for 6 months like that. I'd go up and work for a week and live in this hotel all week and do my job all week, and I come home on the weekends, So I missed out on a lot with my kids because, two of my boys were graduated high school. This was 2012 and 13. So two of my boys had graduated high school. My daughter Tabitha had graduated high school, but my daughter Sierra, and my daughter Shaya, they were still in high school, and so I missed out on a lot of volleyball and track and stuff like that because I was on the road all the time. So I found the company out that I'm with now while I was up there, and I was coming to the end of my contract, and that contract was running out, so I had to find another job, and I'd been interviewing at the state and stuff like that. And I found the company that I'm working with now, and at first, it was all fine and dandy, which it's still a really good job, but it's a job. That's it. I know I'm worth a lot more than that. And, the pain points of the job, are, some of the people I work with are kind of negative. One, his biggest thing is he never makes mistakes, and that's crazy in my eyes because everybody makes mistakes. I'm highly intelligent. I'll say that. I'll just put it out there and say it because, I know I am. I proved to myself that I was because I had a 3.5 GPA at ITT, I had a 3.5 GPA. No, I had a 3.3 at ITT, I had a 3.6 at Robert Morris, and in my bachelor's degree, I had a 3.48, almost a 3.5, And then in my master's degree, I went 2 semesters on my MBA. I had a 3.89 GPA, in my master's degree. So I proved to myself that I am highly intelligent and I am capable of more than I was doing. I was letting my pain of growing up and the stuff I went through in my childhood affecting me. I lived with a self-limiting belief that I never amounted to nothing, or that I would never amount to nothing, and that I would be a failure in life. And I worked really hard to prove that I wasn't going to be that failure. And the pain points in life, follow you around. Self-limiting beliefs like that follow you around your whole career. And seems like when you're on the verge of success, then pain points come up, and you don't know how to overcome them. Everybody faces pain, and Eric Thomas says it the best. Pain is temporary. It may last for a second or a minute. It may last for an hour. It may last for a day. It may last for a year. But eventually something else will take its place. But if you quit, it will last forever. And that's one of my favorite quotes by Eric Thomas is, it's true. If you quit, it will last forever because you have to carry it around with you that you quit. Hi, Pastor Jackie. How are you? Welcome to the hangout. Glad to see you here. And tonight hearing Ray Lewis talk about his pain, and he went through some of the same pains watching his stepdad beat the crap out of his mother and stuff. And, and he swore that when that he would never let another man lay a hand on his mother again, and he did a little different than I did. He took a deck of cards, and I put that audio in our our chat, so you guys could listen to it. But he asked his mama for a deck of cards, and his mama said, "We don't gamble in this house. You don't need a deck of cards." He said, "Mama, I don't want it for gambling. I just want a deck of cards." And what he did was he took that deck of cards, and everybody that knows football and knows Ray Lewis is a huge guy. He took this deck of cards, and every time until he was big enough, every time he seen his stepdad beat up his mother, he'd go out to his garage because he wasn't allowed to live in the house, so he lived in the garage. He would take that deck of cards, he'd take out his anger on that deck of cards. He'd flip a card over. Okay, it's a 9. He'd do 9 push-ups. It's a 2. He'd do 2 push-ups. It's a 10. A jack is worth 10. A 10's worth 10. A jack is worth 10. A queen's worth 10. A king's worth 10. What do you say? A joker was worth 25. So, every card he'd do push-ups for. Then when he was done, he'd start doing sit-ups, however many cards. A 5, he'd do 5 sit-ups. A 4, he'd do 4 sit-ups. And he'd go through all the way through the deck of cards, and he'd do exercises all the way through. And he worked out not to become an athlete. He worked out to deal with the frustration and the pain that he experienced every day. So his greatest pain was his biggest accomplishment, because that pain took him to the NFL. That pain took him to winning, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, which is the greatest prize in football. So, and that's what, I have done. I've taken the pain that I went through and, fighting with my dad and watching him beat the crap out of my mother. I've taken that pain, and turned it into a positive in my life. After getting with the company I'm with, I started getting into more, that time I was off, I got into Power Network. I found Empower Network, and my first 3 weeks in Empower Network, I made a sale, and then it was like 2 days later, I made another sale, I'm like, okay, I got this, boom. Well, after a couple, after about a week, right at the end of the 14-day trial, the second sign up quit. Okay. So, then I went, 3 years, I was listening to the Monday Night Call every week. I was blogging every day. I was doing everything I needed to have success, and I'd have some signups along the way, and they'd last to the 14-day trial, then they quit, and I couldn't figure out why they were quitting. I was having success, but I was still failing. I was still having the pain, and the pain of my childhood was rearing its ugly head. When I was getting close to success, I'd get a sign up. I didn't know how to talk to them or anything. So they quit because I wasn't giving them no support, because I didn't know how, and then that pain, turns into frustration, and, life knocks you down, and you have to decide if you're going to just lay there and take it and take what life gives you, or are you going to get back up and fight, and I was to the point I was frustrated, highly frustrated. And we went to an event in Chicago, and I seen Laura Parrish speak on stage, and she rattled something in me, and my wife went too, and something rattled in her, and we were ready to sell everything we had in our house, to make that business work. On the way home, we talked about it, and we went pretty deep in the company. I didn't have every product, but I had every product but the big product. So I had a lot of money invested in that company. And like I said, I was having success here and there, but I didn't know how to talk to the products. Yeah, that was a good one. Talk to the people. So that's where I struggled at. And, I'm always educating myself. I was looking at, how do you talk to prospects? How do you do this and how do you do that? I was investing in myself, but I wasn't buying products, because I had so much money wrapped up in a Power Network, and my wife's, on me because she didn't see no money coming in, but she seen a bunch of money going out, and she was highly negative about it, because, we're struggling. Well, at that time we only had 2 kids, but at one time we had 5 kids living at home that we supported and raised. Together we have 7. We have mine, hers, and ours. So we had 7 kids total together. She has 3 girls. I have 3 boys and 2 girls. And her 3 girls aren't my stepdaughters. They're my daughters. Or one of them is mine biologically. But my daughter's Tabitha. She's my daughter. She's not my stepdaughter. I raised her since she was 2 years old. I'm the only dad she knows. I kissed every boo-boo on her knee and on her elbows. I was there for every heartache. When a boy broke her heart, I was there for, everything, and next October I'm going to be there to walk her down the aisle. And she told her real dad, Dad Jamie's walking me down the aisle. I'm sorry if that makes you mad, but he's been there my entire life and he's walking me down the aisle. And whether that made him mad or not, I don't know, but I think I've deserved that, right? And she's a very strong-minded person. To meet her or with me, you could not tell that she's not my biological daughter, because she has been around me all her life. She acts like me, she talks like me, and she cusses like me sometimes. So, but and she's gone through the pains too. Broken hearts and stuff like that. And I didn't really get into stuff like that, broken hearts and stuff like that, but I guess my biggest point is everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody experiences pain, And I don't know everything that's going on with my partner, Terry. I know she's not here tonight. I know she did a Facebook Live the other night and she was in tears. I don't know what's going on because she hasn't really told me. I know she's struggling. I know a lot of it's with her knee and stuff, but I had just asked my friends that are in the chat, and in our community to help lift her up and, help her along the way, because I know she struggles with a lot of stuff and she's been through a lot in her lifetime, same problems that I've had, alcoholism and stuff like that. She's feeling the pain. She's having a lot of pain with her knee, and we just need to show her that we understand and help her rise above the pain. And because on the other side of the pain is the glory, and I didn't realize that until, after the Chicago event, we started getting more and more into the training. I got more and more into the training and mindset and stuff like that. And that was 2012. I think Laura Parrish, no, it was 2013 that she spoke on stage in Chicago. And it was April of 2013, because that's when I started with the company I'm with now. Because the weekend we went to Chicago, that Monday I started at my new job that I'm with right now. I'm still with that right now. But I started the mindset training back then, listening to the Monday night calls, downloading the inner circle calls to my phone and listening to them in my truck, So I started the inner circle back in 2013, started the mindset training back in 2013, and I still listen to it. I haven't listened to the radio in my truck since 2013. I have an audio going all the time. I've got audio on CD. I carry my phone. It's an Android phone. It's got a plug-in on the bottom of it. I download the audios to my my Microsoft OneDrive, and then I play them right on my phone over the speakers in my truck, because I have Microsoft Sync built into my truck. So, and sometimes, I'll click on YouTube, and I'll listen. Like tonight, I listened to Ray Lewis's story about pain. And that's kind of why I brought up this subject tonight, because, pain, we've all been through some sort of pain in our life. And, and it doesn't matter what the pain is. There's, like I said before, you can decide if you're going to live through the pain, or what I said, don't just go through the pain, grow through it. And that's a famous quote by Joel Osteen. I'll say it again for you. Don't just go through the pain, grow through it. Because pain is only temporary, and you have to decide if you want to experience the pain and you're just going to take what life's going to give you, or you're going to do something about it, and I decided I was going to do something about it. I started with the mindset training, and get back to where I was. I was frustrated, and I come up on another event in April 2014. It was Nashville. So I went to Nashville, and I'm out in the smoke. I went out to take a smoke break, and this little short guy standing there smoking a cigarette, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Pat Patterson. How are you?" I said, "I'm fine. My name's Jamie Shaw." He said, "Well, it's nice to meet you, Jamie." He said, "How long you been in this?" I said, "Oh, about 3 years." He said, "You making leads and sales?" I said, "Yeah, I'm making leads and sales." I said, "I'm just having a hard time keeping the sales around." He said, "Are you doing videos?" I said, "No, I'm scared to do videos." He said, "Oh man, you got to do videos. You got to do videos. Anybody that knows Pat knows how Pat is. You got to do videos. And he said, "I'm starting a webinar. You come hang out on my webinar. I seen him a couple of times more over the weekend. Every time I see him, it's, 'Hi, Jimmy, how you doing?' See him a couple more times out smoking and stuff. Uh, so fast forward, I started going to his Wednesday webinars, and granted, I'm still doing the mindset training every day, and we're still all in Empower Network. Pat's in Empower Network. I've heard his story on the Inner Circle call. I heard him speak on a Monday night one night, and I was just floored because at that time I just listened to his story on a Monday night call like a week before the Nashville event, and I was just floored. I felt like I was laying right there next to him while the dog's chewing on his arm, and he's trying to get his pistol out of his holster. I was there step by step with him all the way. I could feel the energy and feel the teeth clawing into his arm and every bit of it, and that's just how Pat tells his story. It makes you feel like you're right there with him. And I just resonated with him. So I started going to Wisdom Wednesday, and I met these two amazing people on Wisdom Wednesday, which is Dave Renica and Miss Katie Stage. And, and they kind of just both took me under their wings, and nurtured me. And when I whined and complained, Katie kind of slapped me around a little bit, and they both asked me, "Are you doing video?" I'm like, "No, I'm scared to do video." And their advice was exactly the same as Pat's, get over it and start doing it, So I did some videos, and like Pastor Jackie did when she come in and started, I'd edit them, because they sucked, I'd tell my wife would watch me do a video and she'd rewatch. I said, "Yeah, I look like a damn doofus, don't I?" And she's like, "No, you're fine. Just upload it." I'm like, "No, I'm a dipshit. I can't do this, And that's where the negative mindset is coming in. That's where the pain's coming in. Your negativity is, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Your pain is your negativity. And if you can get rid of your pain, some of your negativity goes away. And so I did a video and I uploaded it. And one night, Dave they invited me over to 24-hour marketing. And so I started going to 24-hour marketing and Winston Wednesday, the Monday night call. And, so I made the decision, I got to find out how to make this business work. So I started asking monster comments all the time in both hangouts, all the time. They played Stump the Panel on Wednesday night, and I tried my damnedest to stump the panel. I think I actually did one time, maybe twice, but I had a lot of fun trying to stump the panel because, I did enough training and stuff that, I should have been having great success, and, in my mind, I should be, a big successful marketer right now. And I am a big successful marketer in my mind right now, and I'm going to where I want to go. But at that time, I thought I should have been having more success because I was getting leads and sales, but I didn't know how to keep the sales around was my biggest thing. Sorry, I had to have a drink. But, I get to a point, and Katie wasn't my sponsor and Dave wasn't my sponsor, and neither one of them owed me a dime or a thing, but they still, just out of the kindness of their heart and because of the people they are, they helped me. Dave would get on a Zoom hangout with me. It wasn't there at first, when they started noticing my monster comments and stuff like that, they started recognizing me and stuff because I was making big comments. I like I said, I stumped the panel one night on Wednesday, and they started recognizing me. So let's fast forward to April of 2015, and April 2015 we go to Nashville again, a Power Network event. I meet Pat Patterson again. I meet Miss Katie stage. I met Pops, and we all went and had dinner together at Jack Daniel's Grill. And Mr. Pat Patterson was, he'll say he wasn't doing it, but he was harassing the waitress, and she harassed him right back. I think they were flirting with each other, really, but you know, and that's just Pat's nature. He's got to give you shit, you know. And it was comical that night because he started giving my wife shit, and my wife don't take shit from nobody, and she started shoveling it right back to him. And you know, Pat told me, he said, "Man, she's a feisty one, isn't she?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she is, Pat." You know, you know. And I told him, we talked a little bit that night. I said, "You know, I need to be more like you and be more open." He said, "You know, you just need, that's what you need. You just need to start doing videos consistently, and you just need to be you." So, you know, and Katie, you know, talked to me, and Pops talked to me, and they were the same way. You know, you just need to start being you, you know. And little by little, I started coming out of my shell and hanging around with Pat and Katie that weekend. You know, I got to meet, you know, a couple of my great mentors that I was looked up to because of the company I was in. You know, I got to meet Mr. David Wood because of Pat Patterson, you know. And who can say they walked up and shook hands with Mr. David Wood and David Wood hugged them? You know, I know Katie can. I can too, because he did. You know, I met, you know, a great, you know, silent mentor of mine, Mr. Paul Hutchings. You know, Mr. Paul Hutchings, and just to meet him and shake his hand and get a picture with him, you know, was just awesome to me. You know, and Mr. Lawrence Tam, you know, I got to meet him and shake his hand. You know, I didn't get to pick any of their brains or anything. It was just the meet and greet on Friday night. You know, and I got to meet them and got a picture with him. Mr. Desmond Soon, you know, I got to meet him. You know, he could read me like a book right there that night. You know, he told me having success. I said, I'm like, no. He said, what's your break-even point? Well, I didn't know what my break-even point was at that point. You know, I do today. You know, and you know, just to throw it out there, I got a new sale today, so I'm at my break-even point. You know, so my system's paid for because I got, you know, a couple signups now, so my system's paid for. So I'm past my break-even point. I'm in profit now. You know, so woo for me. You know, but yeah, Jackie, Pat is a big hoot. You know, and you need to meet him in person. You know, if all of us, yeah, I know, Katie. You know, Nashville was an amazing time. You know, to meet Miss Katie and meet Pat, meet Pops. You know, was a big highlight of my life, and you know, and I cherish that night forever. I wish I would have got a picture with all three of them together, and I didn't. You know, so when we go to Live the Dream next year, we all have to get a picture together because, you know, and you know, hopefully Mr. Dave Ranica will be there too, and we can all get a picture together. And the rest of you guys that are there in the workshop and, you know, come help and support me, you know, I hope we can all have a great big mastermind together at the Live the Dream and support each other and get a big group picture of all of us, because we are the reason we're all having success, because we help each other out. But back to my story a little bit, you know, I got to meet Desmond Soon. Desmond Soon, you know, told me why I was struggling, you know, and I got to meet, I don't remember, I think I met Mike Hobbs that night too, but I didn't get a picture with Mike Hobbs. And I got to meet Justin Brinja, you know, and I didn't get to meet D, but I got to meet Justin, you know. And then me and Pat were going to the Pat's office, the smoking section, and Mr. David Wood was coming down. No, actually, we went out and smoked, and we come back in, and Mr. David Wood was coming down the hall. He's like, "Hi, Pat, how you doing?" And he looked at me, and I just kind of stood there like, "Oh shit, that's David Wood." You know, he goes, "How you doing?" He shook my hand and reached over and hugged me. He said, "I'm David Wood." I said, "I know, I'm Jamie Shaw." He said, "Nice to meet you, Jamie." And I was just in shock, you know, because I was with that company. You know, what a great honor to meet the company owner. You know, and then we come back from Nashville, you know, and I become a bigger monster in the chat, you know, trying to stump the panel more. You know, I'm trying to stump Katie and Dave, you know, and they start recognizing me more and more. And I think Dave finally had me on a hangout and wanted me to tell my story, you know. So I told my story and how I struggled and how I was starting to have success, because the last 3 months in Empower Network, I had a sale every month. right in a row. But they'd passed that new Uniline system, and you had to have 5 to make boss and move up. And it was difficult to make boss. So Dave and Katie contacted me one night and said, we're all going to MLSP. Take a day and think about it. I'm like, no, I don't have to think about it. I'm in. Let's go. Were you, Tim? I wish I would have met you in Nashville. I can't wait to live the dream. I can't wait to meet all of you and see Katie and Pops again, and meet Dave finally, and see Pat again. It's great to be on these webinars and see each other and have some interaction and stuff. And but it's nothing like meeting people in person. And Tim, I'll get a hold of you later in the week or over the weekend or something. I kind of like to know what your availability is, see if I can have you on my show one night. I'm more capable of doing this by myself. I think I provided some good value for you tonight, some good insight of what my story is about, and how you can grow. And I'm not done yet. I still got 15 minutes, and but I kind of like to bring people on, and Tim, I'd like to have you and Barb, if you're both available, know your availability, if it's next week or the week after or whatever, I'll get a hold of you and we can talk about it, and get you back on. And Pastor Jackie too, I'd like to get you on some week as well. I try to get Sonia, but with her being in the UK, I tried to get her a couple weeks ago. With her being in the UK, it's kind of hard for her to get on this late at night. And I've had Katie on, but I need to have Katie on again, because Katie, I went through your course this morning on the way to work, and I tell you, that baby rocks. Especially the stalker status. I kind of do something similar, and that's what I kind of trained on, going and liking and commenting on their Facebook page. But the way you explain it, because I didn't really get to see the video because I watched the video, and or I didn't watch the video. I listened to the video because I was driving, so you can't video and drive. Everybody's been on me about that, so I just listened to the video. But just what I heard, it's like, man, I gotta watch this video so I can take notes. And that's what I'm going to do tonight before I go to bed. I'm going to watch all 4 of them modules again. That way I can take notes and I can implement that strategy. But thank you very much, Katie. And if you need a testimonial, just let me know. I'll do one for you. But back to my story, I had a night where I was the special guest on 24-hour marketing, I told my story, and stuff like that. And the more Katie and Dave gave me an opportunity, the more I grew, and then Dave started the workshop, and I think I just grew as soon as he started the workshop, week 2, week 1, I asked how to start implementing my story into my training and stuff like that, and how to start telling my story. And then week 2, I kind of told my story, and that night I had Katie in tears, and that's why I didn't cover that part of my story tonight, because I don't like to see Katie cry. Barbara's been hugging your Katie training. Just kidding. Yeah, they're good, Tim. It's worth it. Yeah. Yeah, your stalker status strategy. Say that 3 times real fast. Stalker status strategy is awesome, and I can't wait to take notes on it. But I told my actual story. I told about my divine intervention, and I made Katie cry that night. And I don't like to see any woman cry, and Katie really got to me that night because I put her in tears, and it was just because of the divine intervention that I had and what happened in the divine intervention that made her cry. Because if I had fulfilled it and not had the divine intervention, I wouldn't be here today. And God had a bigger purpose for me, and that's why I'm here. And my beautiful wife picked me up, put the pieces all back together, and that's the important woman that's behind me today. She pushes me for success, and Katie's met her in person. She's scared to death on video camera. The only person she'll get on video with is Dave. Why? I don't know. She'll get up, she'll sit here, and I'll turn the camera toward her, and she'll get the camera off of me, and then she'll talk to Dave, but I've tried to get her in to help me, in this business, because I think we could be an awesome power couple, because she's got an amazing story. But until she gets over the fear of video, I can't get her involved. I mean, she'll sit over there in a chair and listen to the story, listen to everything that's going on. She's not tonight because usually Thursday night's pizza night because I'm on this. But tonight she's cooking something. So, and she just got home like half an hour ago. So usually I cook supper for her every night because she don't get home until 7:30, and I get home at 6:30. So I whip up something, and we find something, easy for me to make that and that's something you guys don't know about me either that I'll reveal. I love to cook. I was taught by my great grandmother to cook. I spent a lot of time with my great grandmother growing up, and she used to own a restaurant in the town I grew up in, and then they owned a hotel as I was growing up too. And actually, the tallest man in the world, Robert Wadlow, stayed in that hotel. And Grandma always told me the story how she put the two beds together so he could sleep in them because he was so tall. And we have the registry from the Chapman Hotel, and his name's in the registry, so I can prove it to you. Hi, Pops. I'm glad Pop says hi. I'm glad he's watching. So and it seemed like I grew at an accelerated pace from the workshop. The workshop gave me confidence because I could speak and nobody judged me because and in some of my videos you can go back and watch. I talk about Katie and I talked about being on an island because our sponsor and our power network kind of just left us out there, didn't help us at all. We had totally different sponsors, but I was left out on an island. And I always use the analogy that I had Wilson, the volleyball, talking to me, and he'd tell me, why are you writing that blog post? Nobody's going to read it. Why are you going to record that video? Everybody's going to make fun of you. So I use that analogy in some of my videos, and trying to make them interesting and entertaining, and we all have that. You ever see the Bugs Bunny commercial? You got the angel sitting on one shoulder and you got the devil sitting on the other shoulder. The angel's telling you good stuff and the devil's telling you bad stuff, and we fight that demon all the time in our lives. And then, so I had to get over that demon, and that's where the mindset training come in. It's when we got into MLSP, and I seen the treasure trove of mindset training in the back office. There's actually a button on mindset training, and you can go search mindset training. If you're a master member and have the library, you can go search mindset training, and there's tons and tons of mindset training. So you can do mindset training until you're blue in the face. And then there's the morning call, and now Brian Finale's doing a live stream after the Monday morning wake up call, and so there's a treasure trove of mindset. And everybody, they get stuck, and there's a lot of the new people that come in, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that, and we see it on the workshop all the time. If you would just dig into the mindset, you would find the power within yourself to do it, because the power's in there. I've found that power within myself. A year ago, I'd have been scared to death to do this hangout by myself, and I've been going for an hour by myself. Nobody's helping me. I'm interacting with you guys in the comments, and it's natural to me. I feel comfortable, and I love giving you guys value. I hope I'm giving you value. So the workshop made me grow tremendously. And then Dave had me on the workshop again, and then I was greatly and deeply honored to be asked to be a special guest on Wisdom Wednesday, and it was a big goal for me to be asked to accomplishment, because that was one of my goals that I'd set, to be a special guest on 24 Hour Marketer and a special guest on Wisdom Wednesday, and I got both of them, and then what's it been, Katie, like 2 weeks ago, I had another goal that nobody knew about. Me and Dave were talking one night, and he said, no, I need to have you on the panel again. I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, we need to think about having a permanent panel member. And didn't know if he was hinting or what. And I said, well, Dave, when I started coming to your guys' hangout, that was my goal, to be a permanent panel member. And then he kind of shocked me 2 weeks ago and asked me, Katie contacted me and told me, kind of let the cat out of the bag. And I thought she was just bullshitting me. I didn't know she was serious. She said she was serious, but Dave hadn't talked to me about it. So I kind of thought she was bullshitting me. And then when Dave told me, I kind of broke down in tears, because it was a great honor to be able to be a panel member on the 24-hour marketing mastermind and serve you people, and I think it's a great accomplishment on my part to be able to be on that hangout and deliver value to you guys, because like I said, between the mindset training and all the training in MLSP, I found my calling, and it's to help people. I'm still, working with the talking to people thing. I mean, it seems like I get to a point in my conversations with my prospects, and they're like, either they're selling me or well, I don't have the money. And then I get stuck and I don't know where to go with that. So, I need to dig into some more training and figure out what part of that I'm doing wrong, and I've got a lot of leads. It's just converting them, and maybe it's just the point that they want to see what I'm doing for a while. They want to follow me for a while and see how much I grow, which, a lot of them see me growing. A lot of people see me growing. I have a pretty good following on my Facebook Live, which I did one the other night. I haven't got back into consistently doing one every day. I think I'm going to start doing them at noon because I have my lunchtime. I ought to take advantage of that and do them at noon. And that way I can give value, because sometimes I don't get home till 6:30 at night, at Central Standard Time, so a lot of people don't want to mess with a Facebook Live, or they're just getting home themselves, and they got to cook dinner and take care of the kids and stuff like that, which I don't have to deal with the kids because all my kids are raised. I have grandkids now. Yeah, I understand that, Katie, and they're joining me for a reason. I get a lot of friend requests, and let me look on Facebook real quick. Just this week, Facebook friend request, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7. And here, I can even show you guys. I'll share my screen with you real quick and I'll show you. I got 7 friend requests just this week. So those are all people I got to follow up with just this week. And somebody actually recommended that person to me. And so, so I got 8 people, that I need to follow up with, send them friend requests or confirm their friend requests. I didn't pursue them. They pursued me. They came to me, so I do have a lot of interaction on Facebook, and a lot of it's been from what I've learned from Katie, that when she's taught, a lot of it I've learned in MLSP, a lot of it I've learned on my own. And I learned in the roadmap, how to stalk in the groups and stuff like that and follow people and stuff like that. So, my followers are pushing 100 now, and that's when a couple months ago I only had like 20 followers, and I've got almost 100 now. And I think it's a good thing, that people are actually following me. They say, you ever seen that movie? It's about King Solomon's Mines, about the gorilla Amy that talks, and they say in there the hieroglyphics that they are watching you. Well, it's true, because people sit back and they are watching you. When they're ready, they'll come to you. And maybe that's just what I'm experiencing, that they're just watching me now and waiting for the prime time to join me. So I'm not really worried about it. I just want to provide value to the community, to the people, and be a servant leader. And that's what my goal is right now, to be a servant leader to you, the community, and the people that are around me and the people that are coming into our groups. So that's kind of my point on, pain and how to grow through the pain. Do you let the pain define you, or do you define the pain? I let the pain define me for a long time, and you've heard a lot of my story tonight, and know that, yeah, I did let the pain define me for a long time. But there came a point in my life when enough was enough. I had to get back up and fight, and let me define the pain. If anybody is a big Rocky Balboa fan, I'm a big Rocky Balboa buff. I've seen every one of his movies. That's back when I watched TV. But, one of his best quotes, it doesn't matter how hard you can hit. It's how hard you get hit and get back up and keep moving forward, and that's what life's all about. you're going to take a hit. You're going to get knocked down, but are you going to stay down, or are you going to get back up and fight? And that's one of my greatest accomplishments, is that I don't just lay down and take it. I get back up and fight. I said it the other night, on the marketers for Trump hangout. I'm not going to give up. I figured out what my calling was. I've done some videos. Why are you now, or why are you here? What do you want? Stuff like that. Well, I think I was talking to myself. And we all go through that. When we get to the middle part of our life. And I am in the middle part of my life. I'm not a young chicken anymore. But you start doubting yourself and asking yourself questions. Why am I here? Why did God put me here? And being in the mindset training, I'm part of the Deep Abyss. It's a big old mindset mastermind, and that has helped change me and help me find who I am. And you hear everybody talk about, Empower Network, MSP, you hear Dave talk about it, and you hear Pat talk about it. You got to have a vision, a major definite purpose. And I know what my purpose is now. And I know what my vision is now. I have a vision. I had a vision at the Nashville event. I think it was the first one. Then I had the same vision at the 2015 the 2015 Nashville event. No, it was this year, wasn't it? 2016 Nashville event. Yeah, it was this past April. 2016 Nashville event and the 2015. The same vision at both events. So I know what my vision is now. I know what my purpose is now. I know where I'm going and what I want, and I've set a goal to be, at an L3 in the next 6 months. Well, I got November, December, January, February, March, April. Well, I said April, so it's a little over 6 months. Well, it's November now, so April, 6 months. So I set a goal. I'm speaking a goal now, and I've spoken once before. I want to be an L3 by April, and I'm working my butt off to get there. And if I don't get there, then I'll look at what I've done, where I'm at, and I'll set a new goal, and I'll make it one way or another. But I'm not going to quit this business until I die. So you guys plan on seeing me around for a long time, but take the pain and make it work for you. And dig into your mindset training. Learn every day. And, the 5 things that Dave talks about all the time. Find a mentor. Find a community. Invest in yourself. Invest in your business, and let the systems work for you. Those are the 5 things you need to be successful. And, follow them every day. And if you don't know your purpose, dig down deep in yourself and find your purpose, because there's only one person in the world that's going to stop you from being successful, and that's you. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. I really appreciate all the comments in the chat. I can't even talk tonight. Well, thank you, Tim. All of you in the chat. I really appreciate all your comments and all the love. Monday night, make sure you come over to 24 Hour Marketing Mastermind and hang out with Dave and Katie and Pops and myself. Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, Sonia Harris and Maria, I can't pronounce Maria's last name, but Maria have their hangout. Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, Pat Patterson, there's Pat Patterson, Dave Sisler, Dave Renica, Katie Stage, and Tandy Davis. And then me on Thursday, pennypinchermarketing.com, the Jamie Shaw Marketing Show. And then on Friday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time at pastorjackie.com, go hang out with Pastor Jackie. I'm going to try to get there tomorrow, Jackie. It just all depends on what time I get off work. I'll probably try to load it up on my phone and listen to it on the way home, but I'm going to try to make it tomorrow. And I hope you put on an excellent show, and I wish you all the luck. Like they say in show business, break a leg. But, come hang out with us, and then if you know, you got some value tonight and you want to jump in and see what we're doing, there's a big yellow candy light button that says, yes, let me in now, right below this video. Click on it, get a 10-day test drive, and see what we're all about. You know, and that also opens you up to our 24-hour marketing workshop, which there's a few other requirements to get into the workshop, but that'll get you started. And if you want to know how to get in that workshop, let me know, let Katie, Tim, Jackie, or anybody in the chat, you know, that you see chatting away, you know, get in contact with any of them. You know, they can help you get into the workshop. You just have to be a member of one of our team, and we can get you in the workshop. So thank you all for hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you all next week. Good night.